Hey everyone, Emma here, also known as 8vinyllow, bringing all of you another video. Today's video is going to be an album spotlight on an album that I've been highly anticipating over the last couple of months. This is an album that I've been so unbelievably excited about, and it finally came out, brand new album yesterday, Friday, May 31st. The album that I'm going to be talking about and highlighting in today's video is JEM Records Celebrates Jagger and Richards. This features the talented roster of JEM Records artists, bands, musicians, and is part of this tribute compilation series that JEM has put out over the last couple of years called Celebrates. So quick little backstory about the Celebrates series, and then we will get into the new album. But this concept started back in 2020 by JEM Records founder and president Marty Scott. And at the time, he was trying to come up with a way to pay tribute and or celebrate, right, John Lennon for Lennon's 80th birthday. And he ended up bringing in his arsenal of JEM Records artists and bands and coming up with this tribute compilation album called JEM Records Celebrates John Lennon. This is a phenomenal tribute album, you guys. It features bands like The Weaklings, The Midnight Callers, John Pushkar, The Anderson Council, and so on. The Gripweeds. I mean, talk about an arsenal of wonderful bands and musicians. So they came out with this in 2020. Well, they didn't stop there, and I'm so happy they didn't. They continued the series, and in 2021, they put out one of my favorite releases, which is JEM Records Celebrates Brian Wilson. Now, you guys know how much I love and adore Brian Wilson, and when this came out, I was so excited to get my hands on this. So JEM Records Celebrates Brian Wilson came out in 2021. They didn't stop there. 2022, who are they going to celebrate? They ended up going with JEM Records Celebrates Pete Townsend. Again, another wonderful tribute album put out by these JEM Records artists. And then last year they came out with one. That I was extremely excited about, and it did not disappoint. And that is JEM Records Celebrates Ray Davies on this limited edition. They call it Cherry Cola Vinyl, which is very fitting for Ray Davies. So that has been the Celebrate series over the last couple of years. Now, if any of these are of interest to you, I will put a link down below to buy artists direct for some of these albums if they're still available on vinyl or CDs. Otherwise, you can stream it, but I highly recommend checking any of those out if you are a fan of any of those artists: Ray Davies, Brian Wilson, John Lennon, or Pete Townsend. Great job by JEM Records. So going back to this new album, right, over the last couple of months, I was thinking, who are they going to come out with this year? And instead of choosing one artist, they ended up choosing to celebrate the power songwriting duo of Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. And I was surprised, but I was so excited for this release. And you guys, I have to tell you, and this is going to be my little spotlight on this album, this totally exceeded my expectations going in. Now, as you can tell with the other artists that they ended up celebrating over the last handful of years, very kind of pop-oriented. So when they announced Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, definitely kind of a different approach here. But they did such a wonderful job with this album. It captures the raw essence and enduring appeal of Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and their songs and songwriting abilities. This album delivers a very fitting celebration of these two musical giants. They stay true to the spirit of these rock and roll songs while also incorporating their own unique styles and sounds and flair to this album. So I highly recommend this album to, I know so many of you out there are huge Rolling Stones fans. I see it in the videos that you all post. I see that some of you have already seen the Rolling Stones on their current tour. This is worth it, you guys. Pick this album up. You can get it on vinyl. It's on this limited edition purple vinyl. You can get it on CD. You can stream it. Pick this album up, you guys. You're not going to be disappointed with this. Not only do they cover the songs, the classic songs that you want to hear written by Jagger and Richards, like Let's Spend the Night Together, or You Can't Always Get What You Want, or Ruby Tuesday, but they also choose songs from like deep cuts from their catalog. And the other reason why I absolutely love this album, and I think that they did a phenomenal job with this tribute to this songwriting duo, is it spans their career. So they're not just choosing songs from the 60s, they're not just choosing the hits. They are covering almost every single decade and putting in those classic songs that everybody wants to hear, but also choosing some deep cuts from time periods and decades and albums that a lot of people don't talk about. And these artists do an incredible job. Very inventive interpretations. Matthew Street did a video on this, which I'll also link down below. And his main point was with tribute albums, a lot of the time you get bands and artists that try too hard to try and copy and emulate the recording, the original recording of that song. And at that point, that's great, but it's like, I'm gonna go listen to the original song. And so what I love about this Celebrate series from JEM Records, but I can tell in this album in particular, is that these artists stay true to the spirit of these songs while also incorporating their own unique styles and sounds and inventive interpretations into this. And that's why I love this album, and you guys, you need to check this out. So unbelievably great. So real quickly, I am going to run through the track listing so I can kind of give you an idea of what songs you're going to be hearing on this album and who ended up playing on here as well. Number 1 is Jumpin' Jack Flash, the famous single from 1968. That was done by the Midnight Callers. Number 2 is Citadel from their Satanic Majesties from 1967, done by the Anderson Council. Number 3 is Dandelion, B-side to the song We Love You from 1967. Great song, done by the Gripweeds. Number 4 is Tell Me from their debut, 1964. Paul Collins puts a little power pop flair into that one. Number 5, Too Tight from Bridges to Babylon, 1997. That is done by the Airport 77s. Ruby Tuesday, Between the Buttons, 1967. That is done by Nick Piunti. Number 7, Star Star from Goat's Head Soup, 1973, done by the Sins. Number 8 is We Love You, which is the A-side to Dandelion, also done by the Gripweeds. So they did both of those, which I thought was very neat, which is a single from 1967. Number 9, Rocks Off from Exile on Main Street, 1972, done by the Weaklings. Number 10 is a song called Connection from Between the Buttons, 1967, done by the Anderson Council. Number 11 is Don't Stop, a single featured on their 2002 compilation album, 40 Licks. So kind of doing a deep dive into the catalog there. A great rendition done by Jonathan Pushkar. Number 12, Let's Spend the Night Together, Between the Buttons, 1967. Great rendition from the Gold Needles. And then 13, you got to throw the classics in there, right? You can't always get what you want, from Let It Bleed, 1969, The High Frequencies. So again, the takeaway here, right? It's not just the hit songs. They're also taking a deep dive into the Rolling Stones catalog and pulling out those hidden gems, which I appreciate so much on this release. If you don't believe me, go check out this record for yourself. I truly believe that you will not be disappointed with this release. Again, I highly recommend this to any fans of the Rolling Stones, of the Jagger and Richards songwriting duo. If you just want a fun new album to listen to this summer, check out JEM Records celebrates Jagger and Richards, gets the 8vinyllow stamp of approval. You guys, I love this album. They do such a great job. Good job by JEM Records and all of the bands and musicians and artists, producers and so on that played a role in putting this album together. It turned out amazing. You guys rock. That's all for this video, everybody. I hope that all of you are doing well, and I will see you guys for my next video. Bye, guys.